On the heels of an eventful Money in the Bank premium live event, WWE hit the Netflix airwaves for the latest episode of Raw, headlined by the first words from Ron Killings following his return Saturday in the opening rounds of the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. What went down? Who advanced in the tournament? And was Jey Uso able to retain his World Heavyweight Championship against Gunther in a blockbuster WrestleMania 41 rematch? Find out now with this recap of Monday Night Raw, for this is Ridiculously Raw. Hey there, welcome everybody to another edition of Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and Streaming.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting the presence of the phenom Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll have him back on next time. So we'll address the future content at the end of the show. So with that being said, let's dive on in. Monday Night Raw, live last night from the PHX Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. Big show from start to finish. And we started off with an in-ring segment. If CM Punk wants a shot at John Cena and the undisputed WWE Championship, he will have to travel to Saudi Arabia to get it. After a passionate back-and-forth promo between the Unseen 17 and the Best in the World, Punk laid down the challenge for one last showdown between them with the top prize in the company at stake. Master Manipulator Cena agreed, but only if he did something he seemed unlikely to ever do: compete in Saudi Arabia at Night of Champions on June 28th. Before Punk could answer, Seth Rollins emerged from the back with his Money in the Bank briefcase in hand, a warning to both men that he can cash in at any time, in any place. The promo was great, with Punk doing what he does by setting the tone for the exchange and getting the crowd to invest in the story they were telling. The idea of Cena using Saudi Arabia as a weapon against Punk, knowing his personal feelings on WWE's relationship with the country, is a brilliant move and adds further gravity to the babyface's pursuit of the title. Not much more for me to add on to this, so good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Great way to start the show. CM Punk, John Cena, WWE Championship, Saudi Arabia. Wow.
Yeah, and that was the moment that I know a lot of people were like, yes, we're getting Punk and Cena. Yes, we're getting the match. But then the news about Saudi, and it left a bitter taste in the mouth. A lot of the fans were very upset that they're doing it at Saudi Arabia. Many people thought that they should have held this off for SummerSlam. But you know what? I'm cool with it. I don't have any issues with it. We're getting Punk and Cena. What else can we ask for? This is the biggest rivalry, one of the biggest matches, and I'm looking forward to this fight. Yes, I'm a little disappointed that it is going to be in Saudi Arabia, but I will say this: this is going to be one hell of a fight, and I cannot wait for that to happen. Yeah, Night of Champions, here we go. So Anthony, it's yours. Let's get to the first fight of the night.
The phenomenal AJ Styles squaring off against Chad Gable. AJ Styles wins the match, 7 minutes and 55 seconds. MF, your thoughts?
Solid victory for AJ Styles. Yeah, I'll give this about about 2.25, 2.5. I know a lot of people are like, what does this look like? Some people are saying maybe AJ Styles possibly could be lining himself up for a possible title match with Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Heavyweight title. I don't know if that really is the route that they're gonna go. I would like to see it, because I like to see AJ get one more run, one more crack at a championship. For everything he's done for the company and everything else, I think this is the perfect thing to do. So I can't wait to see it. Like I said, 2.25, 2.5 is my rating. And for Chad Gable, it's not a bad loss. Obviously, they want to play off all the stuff that he did, especially after Worlds Collide and the Mega Campeon Championship fight, and then his buddy El Grande Americano fighting in Money in the Bank. So you can tell he's probably not at 100%. So this was right for the pickings for the phenomenal one. So Anthony, it's yours.
2.5 stars for me. I would say by default, this was the worst fight of the night, mainly because all the other matches on this show were just that good. The win gave Styles a much needed victory, but it came at the expense of Gable, who I believe was the MVP of WWE's weekend in Los Angeles. With no clear indicator of storyline advancement, this was a strong match between two talented wrestlers that existed to follow up last week's events, but accomplished little else. And couple things here. Chad Gable sporting the same elbow wrap that El Grande Americano did Saturday night at Money in the Bank. And there really should be more for the Creed brothers to do than be lackeys and occasional tag team contenders. We know how these guys are. So I think they deserve more opportunities. They're just not getting them right now. 2.5 stars. By default, worst fight of the night. But it's only because the other matches were just that much better. Starting with this one. We now know what the king and queen of the ring tournaments are going to look like. Fatal 4-way matches, 4 of them on both the men's and women's side, 2 on Raw, 2 on SmackDown. Semifinals and finals will be held at Night of Champions, and the winner of the king and queen of the ring tournaments, just like last year, will earn a shot at their respective brands' world champion at the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. First up, the first Queen of the Ring tournament match, 4-way match. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan versus Kairi Sane versus Roxanne Perez. Winner of the match in 12 minutes and 50 seconds and advancing to the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament, the prodigy, Roxanne Perez. Wow. This could have honestly gone either way. Let me tell you, not only did we get the reigniting of the Rhea Ripley-Raquel Rodriguez rivalry, but Roxanne Perez pinning Kairi Sane at Liv Morgan's expense will also only further the tension that exists between them. Good action, logical finish, and a red-hot crowd inside the PHX Arena in Phoenix helped elevate this bout. Despite the pre-match refusal, Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez did work together to launch Kairi Sane over the top rope and onto Rhea Ripley heading into the commercial break. And Rhea Ripley is on another level of stardom than anyone in her division. She is a top star right there alongside of the likes of Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth freaking Rollins. 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Very good match. I have no issues with the outcome whatsoever. And that's pretty much it. So MF, you predicted Roxanne Perez to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. She came up just a little bit short, but no worries. The prodigy moves on to the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring tournament, one step closer.
Yeah, and that's a big win for her, man. And to take down some of the biggest names that they did and who she knocked off in this match, no, that's a big deal. 3.5 stars, no doubt about it. You're absolutely right. This was a solid matchup, to say the very least. I'm just so happy with the outcome more than anything else. I can't say anything more. So, Anthony, it's yours.
Okay. Let's see. Yep, we do. We'll address the other thing. We'll address the rest of. We'll address next week's action before we get to the main event. All right. Then we had another in-ring segment. We heard from the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. The new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Becky Lynch, hit the ring and immediately took exception to Lyra Valkyria's attack after their match at Money in the Bank. She called Lyra out, only to be attacked by the returning Bayley, who sent the man scurrying to the sanctuary of the crowd and then stood tall to close things out. Well, okay. MF, we've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for Bayley for the longest time, and last night we finally got her, and now Bayley and Becky on a collision course for that Women's Intercontinental title.
Yeah, but you also got to remember there's also one other person in that dinner table that might be waiting in the wings, and that's the former champion herself, Lara Valkyria, we may be on the verge of a possible triple threat. So I
Dude,
mean, I think it's gonna be a heck of an outcome. I'm happy. We wanted Bailey back. We were waiting for Bailey to come back. You know, it was a darn shame they took her off the WrestleMania card. I thought that was really messed up more than anything else. I think a lot of fans were very upset that she got left off the WrestleMania card. But for now to get the payoff and now to get Bailey back and possibly you don't now we don't know if this is going to be at Night of Champions. We don't know if this is going to be SummerSlam. But either way, you need to have the role model some way somehow in this capacity. And I hope and this is just me doing wishful thinking. I hope the outcome is that she becomes the next women's intercontinental champion. That's my thoughts. So great segment. I thought everybody played their parts really well. Welcome back, Bailey. We missed you. Florio, it's yours.
this was a much needed return and hopefully one that nets us a high profile program between two of the original four horsewomen. After having her WrestleMania spot yanked from her for the sake of the angle, Bailey certainly deserves as much. And the pop for Bailey's return was well deserved. That's all there is to it. So, very good. Very good stuff. And then, shortly after that, R-Truth hopped the guardrail, jumped on the announce table, and spoke to the WWE fans for the first time since his return at Money in the Bank. He credited fans for bringing him back, but warned that while he is back for them, he is back for himself also. He shed the funny comedy act that is R-Truth and announced that Ron the Truth Killings is here, and ended the segment by cutting his hair and left through the crowd. This was the perfect way to follow up Money in the Bank. It was a thank you and acknowledgement of the fans, but it was also a new chapter in the Hall of Fame career of one of WWE's most engaging performers. Longtime fans of Killings know he can thrive as a serious competitor. He proved as much during his early run in TNA, which netted him the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. While it remains to be seen if a world title is in his future, there is no denying the 53-year-old is as hot now as he has ever been. He said, "Don't let nobody tell you your voice doesn't matter." He also said, "R-Truth can be too funny all the time. R-Truth can be too nice and he's too forgiving. Not me." And R-Truth finally said, "The truth has set me free. I am Ron Killings. I am the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Now put some respect on my name." You got it, sir. I am damn sure. We are damn sure going to put some respect on your name. That was absolutely fantastic. I could even go as far as to call this the segment of the night if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But you also had that Punk and Cena exchange at the start, which was just as great. So, wow, awesome. So, there isn't much more to say. MF, R-Truth is dead. Ron the Truth Killings is alive and well.
And boy, I am all for it. You know, if you've never seen Ron the Truth Killings' work, especially in TNA, get ready, folks, because that's exactly what we got. And it was very interesting, you know, with all the rumors that's been going about, you know, how did they brought him back, the whole 9 yards. And for this to be the ultimate payoff for us, I mean, you can't get any better than this. And I think that's why we're just in love with what Ron the Truth Killings did. And the gimmick is perfect. What he did in that storyline was perfect. So I have nothing bad to say. This was excellent for what it was worth. It was enjoyable. I loved it. Yeah, Anthony, it's all yours, my friend.
Yes, sir. All right. And now we move on to, I believe we move on to the four-way now. Yes, this is the four-way from the King of the Ring tournament. Dominic Mysterio versus Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker versus Penta. Winner of the match, 17 minutes and 5 seconds, Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, in a sense, is going to one of his homes, if not his home away from home, Saudi Arabia, despite the fact that he is from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We all know how he is with the Saudis, of course, his Syrian background. So he's going home. So, and you know that pop's going to be otherworldly, of course. So, not much more. MF, Sami Zayn going to the semifinals of the King of the Ring tournament, winning it in 17:05. Wow.
Yeah, big win for him. So happy for Sammy. He deserves this moment. And the it's gonna get very interesting now. Now we gotta see if they really try to push him to, is this gonna be the moment where he goes all the way to King of the Ring? We don't know. This was a great matchup. You could even make an argument this is probably one of the fights of the night, if not the fight of the night. I give this easily. I'll give this about 4 stars. I thought this was a tremendous matchup, and Anthony, it is yours.
I neglected to mention in the bracket for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, with Roxanne winning. Roxanne is going to meet a SmackDown competitor in the semifinals. She's going to meet the winner of a 4-way match on SmackDown featuring Jade Cargill, Michin, Piper Niven, and Nia Jax. That's be a woman fight right there. Oh, look at the powerhouses in that one. My goodness. Winner of that gets Roxy. With Sammy's win, he's going to meet the winner of a SmackDown Fatal 4-Way on the men's side. MF, you thought the Raw men's match was good? Wait till you hear who Sammy gets the winner of here. Carmelo Hayes, Aleister Black, LA Knight, Randy Orton. Oh, man, that is going to be something. So that's who the winners will meet. And we'll address the next week matches in just a little bit. But 4 to 4.25 stars. Absolutely agree with the rating here. Man, oh man, what a match. And it was all because of LA Knight. He came from nowhere, got a measure of revenge for Money in the Bank, delivering the BFT to Braun Breaker and taking him out of the equation. And then Sammy with a haluva kick on Dominic and got the win. Great match. Introduction of a new program and a big win for Sami Zayn. Made this a quality watch. The second of the night. That Braun Breaker has a year on the main roster under him and is still hitting ropes with the unmatched speed that he does is simply astonishing. Sami Zayn's Sunset Flip Powerbomb is still the best in the business. He is also the purest, best babyface in any major company today, which is why he is going to be an excellent heel when he finally turns. Cheer him or not, but Dominic Mysterio remains the measuring stick for delightfully slimy, sneaky heels. And Penta has such a deep arsenal that he can answer a botched roll-up from Dominic with a Mexican destroyer and get the crowd right back into things. And during the commercial break, Karrion Kross applauded Sami Zayn for seizing an opportunity and using LA Knight's interference to get ahead, and then claimed the winner of the previous match was a manipulator. So, solid 4 stars. I agree with the MF sentiments on that. So, I would have given it 4.25, but we did get that LA Knight interference, even though it was for storyline progression. So 4 stars. And we had a return. WWE Hall of Famer Nikki Bella returned to Raw last night to start the hype for the all women's Evolution pay-per-view on July 13th. A huge match has been added to that card, or the first match has been announced for that card. We'll get to that as part of NXT. While listing some of the top talent in WWE today, she passed over Liv Morgan, which drew the ire of Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella exchanged verbal shots before the former delivered Oblivion, laying out the 2-time Divas champion to close out the segment. And with that, the build to a high-profile matchup is underway. I believe it will likely come in the form of a women's tag team title bout. If Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez hold on to the women's tag team titles until then. If that's the case, Could we see a Bella Twins reunion? Or will WWE go with a standard one-on-one match with Liv Morgan and Nikki Bella? Either way, it's as big a spot for Liv Morgan to be in outside of a championship singles match, and one she has earned on the historic card. And Liv Morgan, she went there and then some. Literally saying, I have everything you don't. I have respect, I have a championship, and I have a man. Whoo. That's called going there, folks. But Nikki Bella had a nice little rebuttal saying, I'm just trying to figure out who he belongs to, you or Roxanne Perez. Yeah. And Liv closed it out by saying, I'm still a champion and all you'll ever be is a reality show diva. Yeah. Another very good segment. So nice couple of jabs between both of them. And now I'm intrigued to see where this goes. So MF, will it stay one-on-one? Or could we possibly see Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus the reunited Bella Twins for those tag titles at Evolution?
I actually think it could be tag. I think it could be tag team titles. I think that's where they're gonna go. I think that's the most logical choice. We'll wait to see how it plays out, but that would be a heck of a match regardless because of the history and everything else. So no, I would not be mad if I see a tag team title match. I actually would welcome it, to be very honest. So yeah, we'll wait and see how it plays out. So Anthony, it's yours.
Okay. All right, now. But before we get to the main event, of course, we have to do the housekeeping here. We got to set the table for next week. Monday Night Raw will be live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And here are, two matches announced. And it's the other four-way for the Raw side in the Queen and King of the Ring tournament. On the Queen side, it's going to be Raquel Rodriguez versus Ivy Nile versus Stephanie Vacour versus the returning Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. Asuka's back. And MF, Asuka and Stephanie in the same ring?
They've never faced off ever. This is a first time. They've never faced off in Japan, never faced off in Marigold. They've never faced off anywhere in the world. This is a first time matchup.
So there you have it. Raquel Rodriguez, Ivy Nile, Stephanie Vacour, Asuka, Queen of the Ring tournament match. And they will meet the winner of the other SmackDown 4-way, which we'll address on the next show. And on the King of the Ring side, this is a Booker T special here. Sheamus versus Rusev versus Bronson Reed versus a mystery entrant. We're not going to know. We're not going to know who this fourth guy is.
No, we won't. There's rumors who it could be, but there hasn't been any official announcement on who the fourth is. But just the three alone, when you got Rusev, Sheamus, Bronson Reed, okay. I mean, that's basically no brakes, no. All water, no brakes, just me.
Well, with all due respect, you messed it up a little bit. It's
I had a feeling I did.
I got you. I call it the Booker T special because it's going to be because all three of those guys, no bread, no water, just me.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we're going to have another Booker T special on NXT in a little bit. So, but anyways, those are the two big matches set for next week in Green Bay. And it leads us to our main event of the evening for the World Heavyweight Championship, a return match from WrestleMania 41 Saturday. The champion, main event Jey Uso, defending against the Ring General, Gunther. Winner of the match in 22 minutes and 5 seconds. And once again, the new World Heavyweight Champion, the Ring General, Gunther. Nothing left to say. Monsoon, new champ, hit us with it.
Yes, indeed. History was indeed made, unprecedented crowning. And the one thing that me and Michael Bullock were talking about last night was the way it went down. He put him in that sleeper hold, reminiscent of WrestleMania. And what should have happened to Gunther happened for Jey Uso. He went out on the sword, did not tap out. He passed out from the pain. That made Jey Uso look a lot more better. That made Jey Uso look more compelling of a star. And a lot of people are upset. And I get it. Because they're like, oh, what the hell? That was a short reign for Jey Uso. He deserves better. I think I know why they did it. There's two ways you can spin this. One, there is a scenario for Gunther to go up against a bigger name, a humongous star for the World Heavyweight title. And I get why people are upset because they feel like, but if you really think about it, by Gunther winning it like this, winning the title back like this, they've reinvigorated his career. They gave him the jolt that he deserved. This was at least a 3.5 to 4-star match. Fight of the night, if you want to make an argument, you can do that. I'm happy with the outcome. I'm satisfied with the result. Yes, I'm disappointed Jey lost the belt the way he did, but I really feel like there's something better for Jey and for Gunther too. So that's why I'm kind of holding out. So let's see what happens. Anthony, it's yours.
4.25, 4.5 is my rating for this. Fight of the night. The match was an excellent exercise in crowd manipulation and drama, particularly with the reversals, in and out of the sleeper, as well as the near falls late. The crowd was there for it all until it became clear that Jey Uso had nothing left and would ultimately pass out in the arms of his opponent. Jey Uso, don't get me wrong, Jey Uso is still incredibly over and felt like he was finding his stride as champion. So the decision to put the World Heavyweight Championship back on Gunther, no matter how extraordinary a talent he is, feels premature. It feels like a commitment to the long-term storytelling rather than recognition of when something is working. Maybe Triple H and company consider the babyface chase to be the way to go. But considering the current state of the product and the criticisms facing his creative regime, perhaps booking two heel champions at the expense of much more popular stars is not the best way to endear the show to fans, especially when the air left the room in the wake of last night's main event. Gunther is great, will deliver between the ropes, and brings a consistency that bookers value. Time will tell if going back to him at the expense of one of the biggest baby faces on the roster early in his first reign as champion was the right call. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett heavily put over what appeared to be a lack of preparedness from Gunther, as if he was mentally unready for the match. It was an interesting approach as it combats everything we know about the Ring General. And that's really all there is to say on that. So, there was no joy in Yeetville last night. Michael Bullock and I, we had our Raw chat last night, and yeah, let's just say that outcome took the air out of our sails. And that's one of the benefits of moving this show from Monday to Tuesday. It gives us, a night to recover. And because I got to tell you, if we had done like we had done for so many years and we did the show last night, I would not have been in the best of spirits. honestly, because you know and I know and everybody knows that Michael Bullock and I, we represent the Rhode Island chapter of the Yeet movement. And yeah, let's just say there was no joy in Yeetville, Mudville, whatever you want to call it last night. So, but nonetheless, big moment for Gunther. Gunther regains the heavyweight championship of the world. And now let's see where this goes. So very intriguing to say the very least. So with that, we go into our overall review. And I got to tell you, good to great action elevated last night's show. But it will ultimately be remembered as the night when Gunther became a two-time world heavyweight champion by defeating Jey Uso, one of the biggest baby faces in WWE, clean in the middle of the ring. How that decision ages will determine the value of this episode. But for now, it was a strong show with memorable moments and quality build to Night of Champions. Not one bad match on the show. All the matches were solid to good to great. By default, the worst fight of the night was the AJ Styles Chad Gable match. But it's not that it was bad. It's just that those other matches were just so damn good. The Queen of the Ring, the King of the Ring qualifiers, and the main event. And then you throw in all those quality segments on top of that. Cena and Punk, Becky and Lyra, and Ron the Truth Killings. This is easily 9 to 9.5 out of 10, and one of the best Raws of 2025, if not the best Raw of 2025. It's right up there it's right there between that and the night after WrestleMania. Those to me are the two best Raws of this year so far. Very good show last night, and one that you must go out of your way to see if you're. I know a lot of people are pressed for time, but if you somehow find some time, go out of your way and watch that show last night. For those of you who have Netflix accounts, whether here in North America or internationally, what have you, go out of your way to see that show. Damn good show. 9 to 9.5 is my rating. Even 9 to 9.5 certainly is the rating for it. So not much more to say. MF, your overall thoughts, and then we'll get into NXT.
I'll go 8 to 9. I thought it was still a solid show. I thought it was really good. Great action from beginning to end, no doubt about it. And yeah, Anthony, let's roll quickly through NXT.
Last week's show was very eventful. We got the debut of Mariah May, who has a new name. Trick Williams retaining the TNA Heavyweight Championship in controversial fashion. JC Jane celebrating winning her NXT Women's title. Miles Bourne earning the right to lead the No Quarter Catch crew on his own terms. At Worlds Collide, Ethan Page retained the North American Championship in a fatal four-way, and Lola Vice won a tag team match alongside Stephanie Vacour against Cheek Tormenta and Dalise from AAA. Tonight's show dealt with the fallout from all of this while continuing the build-up for the Great American Bash on July 12th. Let's take a look at everything that happened on tonight's episode of NXT. And we started it off. NXT opened with a quick video package before we saw Jasper Troy attack NXT champion Oba Femi in the parking lot to soften him up before their main event title bout later tonight. When we went back to the arena, Ethan Page was out to defend his North American Championship for the second time in a 4-day span. And we started it off with the first match of the night. North American Championship on the line. The champion, All Ego Ethan Page, defending against Evolve's Sean Legacy. Winner of the match, 10 minutes and 23 seconds, and still the NXT North American Champion, All Ego Ethan Page. Energetic and solid opening bout. And credit where credit is due to Sean Legacy. He hung with him, but at the end of the day, All Ego was just too much. And then after the match was over, Ricky Saints, the former champion, rushed the ring and went after Ethan Page. They fought to the back before the show cut to General Manager Ava's office. And Ava, in a backstage segment later in the show, advised and ordered Ricky Saints to go home, get rested. And she said, I don't want to see you back here until you're medically cleared. So that is that. So 3 to 3.25. Solid jump off to this edition of NXT. No surprise with the outcome. way too soon for Sean Legacy, but don't you worry. He's going to be just fine. He's going to be a future champion, just not yet, too soon. So 3.25 MF Ethan Page retaining the NXT North American Championship, defeating Sean Legacy of Evolve in 10:23.
Yeah, no, totally agree. 3 stars for me. Solid match. Look, Sean Legacy proved that he can hang. Obviously, the title was never in doubt. Ethan just won it recently. Why would you take the belt off him? I think it would have been a bad move on their part to do that. So, nah, they did the right thing. Champion remains the champion. 3 stars, Florio, go.
All right. I hope you'll be okay with me bypassing this match, because I don't feel there's any reason to get into it unless you want to, of course. Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura versus Sean Spears and Nico Vance of the Culling, and the Culling winning the match in 5 minutes and 9 seconds.
I'm good with skipping that.
Yeah. Just wanted to be sure on that. All right. So all right. Shorter than expected, but it had some fun moments. Made all 4 guys look good. So that's about a 2.25, 2.5 if I had to put a rating on it. So not much more to say on that. A lot of backstage stuff, but we did get an announcement. Mariah May has a new name, and her new name was revealed to be Blake Monroe. And she's already changed her name on her X as well.
Mm-hmm.
And next week on NXT, she will officially sign her NXT contract next week. They call her the Glamour, introducing her new name as Blake Monroe. I think we all know where we're going with this. Blast from the past. Marilyn Monroe, anyone?
Yep. And actually, Sean Ross Sapp actually did some investigative work, and the Blake part of Blake Monroe actually is a nod to her niece, who's actually was named Blake, and actually it stems back from that. So that's a really cool auntie. If she's using Blake as her name, she must really love this her niece that much if she is willing to make her name as that. And then yes, the Marilyn Monroe. A lot of people thought it should have been Mariah Monroe. That would have been a perfect name for her. But after what we heard about Blake Monroe, I think people are going to be I don't think there's going to be much of a argument for the name. I think everybody's cool with it now because of the semblance of why she called herself Blake.
And the gimmick is and the character is almost a little similar almost to the Toni Storm in AEW.
Yes. You know who I was thinking of at the time when they did it, and I know we gotta be quick about it, so I know we're running out a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Remember the Emelina?
Yes.
And remember how that was originally supposed to have been Emma's character, and it never worked? Blake Monroe. I'm sorry, Blake Monroe. I think she is getting that Emelina type thing, or like when Tiffany Stratton started with the rich girl, daddy dearest type gimmick. I think that's what we're getting, and quite frankly, Anthony, sign me up with Blake Monroe because
definitely,
yeah.
And Tiffany Stratton, of course, when she started, was the rich girl Barbie doll. So
yes.
Which only made sense because look at her entrance at WrestleMania. She came out of a Barbie doll box.
Yes.
So there you go. All right. Lash Legend squaring off against Ren Sinclair. This is going to be another bypass here. There's going to be another cutout here. Lash Legend winning the match 4 minutes and 4 seconds. We're not going to really waste too much time on this. Let's see. Nothing really to really speak of here. So Lash scored the win, but the way she hit her finisher did not look great. She almost dropped Ren, and it ended up making the ending of the match fall flat. So this was probably the worst fight of the night. This was a 2-star match. So there was a backstage moment earlier in the night where JC Jane and Fatal Influence were in Ava's office, and they were interrupted by Lainey Reed, and Lainey Reed called her shot, and she literally slapped JC Jane, and because of that, JC said, I'll put my title on the line. I want her tonight. I'll put the title on the line. So an impromptu third championship match. We were supposed to have 2. Now we got a third. NXT Women's Championship on the line. JC Jane in her first title defense since shocking the wrestling world with the upset of the year when she upset Stephanie Vacour 2 weeks ago. Defending against Lainey Reed. And the winner of the match, 10 minutes and 27 seconds. And no surprise, still the NXT Women's Champion. It is JC Jane. But hold the phones. There's more to this. As Fatal Influence was celebrating, General Manager Ava appeared and told JC Jane that she would have to face the winner of a Fatal 4-Way match on June 24th. So what's going to happen is next week, we're going to get 4 singles matches. And the winner of those 4 matches will then advance to the following week. And those 4 winners will meet in a Fatal 4-Way match on the June 24th edition of NXT. And whoever wins that Fatal 4-Way match will then earn the right to challenge JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship. And you're probably thinking NXT Great American Bash, right? Wrong. It's going to happen at Evolution. That's right. The all-women's pay-per-view Evolution, the NXT Women's Championship is going to get the spotlight of Evolution. Yes.
That's a huge moment for NXT. What a huge moment for JC Jane, because it's one thing to be a regular match. One thing to say that it's a PLE, but it's an all-women's PLE. There's only been one other time. This is the second one. And she's going to the ATL. She's going to Hotlanta to be fighting, to put her title on the line against whoever this challenger may be.
Yeah. So, bear with me as I'm trying to find the lineup for those Fatal 4-Way matches for next week's show. I do happen to know that one of them is going to be Lash Legend versus Kalani Jordan. That I do know. I do know that match. And then on top of that, I know Lola Vice is also going to be in a match. But point is, I'll try to find it, and I'll hopefully have that information for. All right, I got it now. I got it. Lash Legend versus Kalani Jordan. Zarya versus Izzy Dame of the Culling. Thea Hale goes one-on-one with Lash Legend. And Jordan Grace versus Lola Vice. Those 4 winners will advance to a Fatal 4-Way match June 24th. And then June 24th, the winner of that Fatal 4-Way gets the golden ticket and earns the right to challenge JC Jane for the NXT Women's Championship at the all-women's pay-per-view Evolution, Sunday night, July 13th, at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. As far as the match is concerned, solid back and forth encounter that immediately put Laney Reed on the map. They made this feel physical and competitive, but you could still see a lack of chemistry in some places. And JC retained with her discus clothesline. The video package introducing Reed was good. It gave fans a quick primer on who she is. And that's all there is to say on that. So I'm very impressed with this young lady. Just like with Shawn Legacy, I believe Laney Reed's got a bright future ahead of her, and I believe she'll be a future champion someday. So another 3 to 3.25 star. MF, your thoughts on the match, and you already gave your thoughts on the big announcement, but your thoughts as JC Jane successfully defends the women's title against again Laney Reed in 10:27.
3.5 stars, solid matchup. I thought they did a really good job with it. Like I said, I think JC deserves the moment that she's getting, and I can't wait to see what she brings to the table now going into the next show. So, yeah, she gets the golden ticket. She gets to fight for the title at Evolution. That's huge. So, nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
A lot of backstage stuff again, and it leads us into a tag team match. Tony D'Angelo and Luca Crucifino squaring off against Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Igwe, known as High Rise. And the winners of the match, 9 minutes and 47 seconds. It was High Rise. They defeat Tony D'Angelo and Luca Crucifino. MF, late in the match, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, he showed up. Luca Crucifino had a crowbar. He was behind Tony D. And Tony's like, "You're going to hit me with that? You're going to hit me with that?" He was like, "I knew it. I knew it." Uh-oh. More dissension in the family, MF.
Yeah. It's almost to the point where now Luca needs to make this choice. Are you really for Tony, or are you with Stacks? Because right now, the family is without a doubt in shambles. It's almost like it's non-existent now, and it's tough. It's a tough situation, made even worse because of what happened here tonight. Solid matchup, 3 stars. Anthony, it's yours.
Next week on NXT, of course, I already mentioned those four big women's matches, where those 4 winners go on to June 24th, and the winner from there gets to face JC Jane for the women's title at Evolution. In addition to that, Blake Monroe will officially sign her NXT contract, and a huge 6-man tag team main event that's going to have TNA crossover here. TNA heavyweight champion Trick Williams and First Class AJ Francis and Casey Navarro, they're going to square off against Elijah and Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. 6-man tag team action, all that and more next week on NXT, on the CW. And it leads us into the main event of the evening. NXT Championship on the line. The champion, Oba Femi, defending against the winner of WWE LFG Season 1, Booker T's guy, Jasper Troy. Another Booker special. No bread, no water, just meat. And the winner of the match in 11 minutes and 21 seconds, and still the NXT champion, the ruler, Oba Femi. Fight of the night for me, no doubt about it. This was easily 3.5, teetering on 3 3/4 stars. I did forget to mention when it came to that other match, that was about another 3 to 3.25 star match. High Rise took advantage of the situation, took out Tony D for the win. Match had a couple of good spots, but it had just as many moments that should have been better. And they did a good job showing how Tony D still doesn't trust Luca. As far as the main event goes, this was the fight of the night. This was easily 3.5 stars. For someone so new, Jasper Troy made a great impression in this match. He looked as dominant and powerful as WWE wanted him to. But Oba looked just as good as an injured champion fighting for his pride and his title. It took 2 fall from grace spinebusters for Oba to finally get the pin and the win to retain the NXT championship. The spot with the middle rope was cool. It made Jasper Troy look like a monster. Femi throwing Troy through the barricade with another awesome spot. and the referee claimed that Jasper Troy kicked out of Oba's first finisher when he clearly didn't. So referee Adrian Butler, alias Daryl Sharma, a little dipsy-doo botcheroo on your part there, my friends. So we'll see what happens with that. But at least they did get it right, and Oba successfully defends in a very good Be a Man fight. So 3.5 stars for me. Fight of the night. MF, no big surprise with Oba retaining, but damn it to hell, man. Give Jasper Troy his flowers. He didn't win LFG season 1 for nothing, you know.
Absolutely, man. 3.5 stars. Absolutely great matchup. What a showcase for Jasper Troy, man. And that's a monumental moment for him. He'll never forget that. And he was amazing in this match. Yes, he did lose, but trust me, he won a few fans over here tonight with his performance. So that's my feeling about it. 3.5 stars. Overall review, Anthony, I gotta say 8.5 out of 10. I thought this was a solid show. I thought they did a really good job. I thought the outcome, some of the matches were really good. I love the fact of, the big announcement for Evolution and huge moment for JC Jane. And yeah, I thought they did a really good job with it. So 8.5, solid show. Anthony, it's yours.
I think you might have overrated it a little bit, MF, but I'm going to meet you in the middle here. I'm leaning more towards 7.5, maybe 8. On paper, tonight's NXT looks like a great show. We got 3 title bouts and a few bouts booked for future shows along the way. In reality, it felt like a weaker episode than what we usually get. A couple of the matches felt rushed and predictable. And even though interference in WWE is commonplace, it was done too many times on this show. Ethan Page and Shawn Legacy had a solid encounter for the North American Championship. All Ego has been one of the workhorses of NXT lately, and this match was another example of why he has been positioned as a top star on the brand. Mariah May's name change to Blake Monroe will take some getting used to, but it's not as bad as some of the other name changes WWE has done in recent years. And the main event had some weak points, but still delivered some entertaining action from 2 massive human beings like Oba Femi and Jasper Troy. This was not the best episode, but it still had some matches worth checking out. I'm actually going to bump it down to 7.5. I think you might have overscored it just a little bit, but not too bad. 7.5. I think that's the correct rating for this match because we did have a couple of cutouts in there. So, but other than that, everything else was great. So if you're pressed for time, don't bother with the cutouts. Check out the 3 championship matches as well as Ava's announcement. And I'll even give you the tag team match with Tony D and Luca against High Rise. So there you have it, 7.5, and that will put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Ross. So MF, come on in and let's set up the future content for the rest of the week, shall we?
All right. Well, with that, I'm guessing the only thing I can think of right now is possibly just Friday for Cerebral Smack Talk. I don't know if there's anything else that we can cover or that of covering, at least for strictly.
We can actually do a I think we can do a crossover on Friday night because yes, we're gonna have TNA and SmackDown, but there's a couple things. I mean, there's one thing that we can if you want, but we don't have to really. The UFL Championship between Michigan and DC.
Okay.
And of course, let's not forget this weekend. It's all you. Big 3.
Yes.
The Big 3 starts up.
Okay. Yeah. And I'll preview the games. All right. Yeah, we could do that. I'm good with that. At 11 on Friday.
Do you want to do the UFL Championship or do you want to leave that out?
Yeah, we could do it. We can do it.
Okay. So Friday night, 11 p.m., Brace Bay 95, MF will have it. Cerebral Smack Talk, TNA Impact, Friday Night SmackDown. And then we will preview the UFL Championship. Well, actually, the Big 3 will go first. The Big 3 will actually start earlier. I think that starts around 3 or 4 o'clock on Saturday and on CBS and Vice TV from Chicago. The new season of the Big 3. Everybody loves it. It's been a popular staple of our shows over the last few years. back by popular demand. We're going to bring it back. MF's going to set the table for that as always. And then in the main event, we will preview the UFL Championship. An interesting matchup. The Michigan Panthers against the DC Defenders. 2 major upsets in the UFL playoffs this past Sunday. So we'll get into all of that on Friday. And then 1 week from tonight, we do it all over again. Ridiculously Raw, Monday Night Raw, NXT. And that's it. So until Friday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, this is Anthony Florio here. On behalf of all of us here at Talking Wrestling TXN, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and always and forever our First Lady, the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it a Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed rest of your week. And until Friday night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you have been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, when anyone tells you beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.